Hey everybody, it's Glenn, back with another episode of Confessions of an ebayaholic. And I've been waiting to impatiently this week to shoot this video to get this figure here. I paid for him last weekend and I'm only getting him today, which is Friday, so it's taken the best part of a week to get him. But here he is, WWE Legends KAMALA. Kamala. So many of you will no doubt know me primarily as a customizer of Marvel Legends. I do have other strings to my bow, and one of those strings is a wrestling figure collector. I have a fairly large collection of wrestling figures, largely Jakks Pacific's Classic Superstars line here, which is the Kamala on the left. I've been a fan of wrestling, largely WWF, which became the WWE, since I was a kid in the late 80s. In fact, here in the UK, I bullied my parents in the late 80s into getting satellite TV specifically so I could pick up WWF programming. And one of the events I was fortunate enough to watch when we first had satellite TV installed was WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, Toronto Skydome. And I was obsessed with WWF wrestlers when I was a kid. Kind of the crappier the gimmick, the more obsessed I was with them, which made Kamala here a perfect object of my obsession. He is a Ugandan tribesman, kind of loosely portrayed as possibly being a cannibal. It's probably his greatest feud was maybe with The Undertaker. I have also read online that he did have a real-life feud with Andre the Giant. Apparently Andre had called him the N-word backstage, and such was the tension between them that it's rumoured, I can't remember if it was a knife or a gun, but Kamala was actually in real life so scared of Andre that he actually hid a knife or a gun in his trunks in case Andre tried to mess with him. I don't know how much of that is true, or hopefully all of it, but no doubt there's a lot of wrestling urban legend been surrounding that story. So this is my first WWE Legends figure. For those of you who don't follow wrestling figures, the license changed from Jakks Pacific to Mattel. I believe last year. Jakks had long time had the WWF/WWE action figure license for at least 10 years. And their collector line was called Classic Superstars. It largely focused on kind of old era wrestlers. And when Mattel took over the line, they've produced this series, WWE Legends, which pretty much kind of replicates the collector series that Jakks had started with Classic Superstars. And I have resisted now collecting Mattel's WWE Legends for two reasons, really. Firstly, they're not stocked anywhere in shops in the UK, which is odd because Jakks Classic Superstars were in every shop in the UK, so I'm not sure why Mattel aren't stocking, or maybe it's reluctance by retailers. I'm not sure. But that's the first reason. And then also I kind of was burned pretty badly when Hasbro took over the Marvel action figure license from Toy Biz. Not been impressed by them very much at all, aside from a few figures. And I'm just getting to, makes me sound horribly old, but getting to an age where the idea of change isn't good. So I kind of was sad that Jakks lost the license, and was none too welcoming to Mattel. Now I have these two figures side by side. Even though I've looked at reviews of Mattel's Kamala online, it isn't until I had them side by side that I realised Mattel's figure wipes the floor with the Jakks Pacific one in almost every aspect. So now a bit of a close-up comparison of the two, and let's just take a look at the Jakks Pacific Classic Superstars Kamala. Now the WWE Legends Kamala by Mattel. I think you can pretty much see instantly that this is by far the better figure. The facial expression there actually really captures the card art there. It's so much more expressive, the sculpt in the face there, kind of compared to this one. Plus the costume there, his kind of tribal dress, it's longer, whereas here it's kind of more of a mini skirt. It's quite odd. On the back it is shown as kind of being pretty much knee length there, whereas like I just said, it's a bit of a mini skirt, and his kind of if I get too low with the camera, I'll be flashing Kamala's genitals at you. I guess maybe they were kind of preserving fabric in the Jakks Pacific factory on the day he was made. Plus, of course, the WWE Legends does come with this tribal shield, which is without in the classic Superstars one. Both do have the tribal masks here. Unfortunately, this tribal mask has become dislodged. It should be fit into an impression in the packaging there. That's something that happens kind of when you buy on eBay, as opposed to buying in stores. In stores you can kind of, if they have multiples of figures, you can compare, you know, paint application and any other imperfections that might exist in the figure, which you know, in person you can compare stuff like that, and it does vary from figure to figure, which makes me sound very picky, but it does make a difference. Kind of when you buy on eBay, there is, I mean, even though you get a picture of the item, sometimes it's, you know, a carded figure, they'll use a stock image, or, you know, the picture just isn't detailed enough to give you an idea of any kind of imperfections that might exist in any kind of paint application. So when you buy on eBay, sometimes you do end up with stuff like this. You know, I am going to see if I can pop Kamala open here, and in a way that I can get him out, have a bit of a play with him, yet still keep the packaging intact to see if he can be returned. You know, I like to do that with figures. I'm just going back to the card backs. Something that I liked about the Mattel one on the classic Superstars, it had this kind of statistical information about each wrestler, the year they debuted, the weight, the height, and the finishing moves, which is cool. I wish Mattel had done that here with WWE Legends figures, but what they have done is print a memorable moment, whereas here, I'm not sure if you can read that. I don't give you the chance to read it. Do pause the video. And it gives a bit of a description about his feud with The Undertaker, which is kind of cool that they've mentioned that. For kind of kids collecting these figures, it does give them a kind of increased opportunity with potential for play. They can kind of break open this Kamala, and if they have an Undertaker figure, they can have them beat the shit out of each other. Interestingly, I've read a review. This artwork here is from a promotional photo that I recognise of Kamala, because it's the same promotional photo that they used for the collector cards that I collected when I was a kid. But person who reviewed this said, you know, what an amazing kind of hand-drawn artwork that is. But if you're asking me, maybe I'm being cynical. It looks to me like in Photoshop there's that kind of setting where you just press one button and it kind of makes your photo looks like it's been hand-drawn. I think there's an iPhone application that also does the same thing. Maybe that's just, like I said, me being a bit cynical in my old age, but I'd be surprised if that's a hand-drawn artwork there. Looking at the other figures in the line, I do have a Rick Rude on the way to me. I've never been a completist in collecting figures. You know, whatever the line is, I collect what characters I like and or if it's a good sculpt. So Rick Rude is, you know, a definite favourite of mine. So here's a definite. I would have liked the Jake the Snake Roberts one, because Jake Roberts was another favourite of mine when I was a kid. But the pictures I've seen of him and the reviews I've seen, I really do not like the sculpt on the figure, which is a shame because, in my opinion, the classic superstars, Jake the Snake Roberts, wasn't all that either. So I'm not sure who the WWE toy license has to transfer to for me to finally get a Jake Roberts figure that I like. Anyway, I will pop Kamala open now. So I have now opened the package, and like I said, I do like to try and create as little damage as possible to packaging when removing a figure from the package, and that's simply so if need be I can return the figure to its package, just for display purposes really. And I do this by running a craft knife along where the plastic bubble meets the card backing. Open up like that. And you can remove the figure. And the packaging is still somewhat intact, so you'll be able to kind of, or I'll be able to reseal that in there if I so choose to do so. And here's a real close-up of Kamala so you can enjoy his every beauty. From the tip of his toes to the top of his head there. Really captured the expression in the face. I love this figure. Figure comes with this display base, which is I guess a generic WWE display base, which comes with all the figures, and then has the personalized kind of cardboard that you insert into the base. So that's a nice option for displaying the figure out of package. And the figure itself, as you saw already, comes with the tribal mask and shield here. The mask is like a kind of soft rubber, whereas the shield is a hard plastic. And Kamala looks great. The articulation on him is way better than the Jax. I mean, he looks up, he looks down, head spins around, torso. So much articulation. It's great. Probably, for a collector's line, they could have easily have just gone with, more of a kind of statue figure with kind of very minimal articulation, but they've kind of gone all out here. Has upper thigh articulation there. Double jointed knee. A little bit of an ankle swivel, which I love an ankle swivel. So all in all, really impressed here with Kamala. I am definitely going to be picking up more WWE Legends. If you are in the US, please do let me know in the comments how much these are retailing for in shops. I mean, I've looked on kind of eBay in the US and kind of more scalped websites where the prices are a bit more jacked up, but I'm just curious. I couldn't find a regular retailer's website that was stocking them to see how much. I paid £16 including shipping for this on eBay, and I'm just curious how that compares to the regular retail price. I can't find them in shops here, so I don't know how much they would retail for here. Mattel's WWE basic figures retail for about £10 here, so I assume, being a collectible line, they'd probably add a few more bucks on to weasel a little bit more out of us collectors, because clearly we're all rich and have nothing better to do with our money than spend it on action figures. Anyway, this has been Confessions of an ebayaholic. I've been Glenn Webb. I still am Glenn Webb, and hopefully I still will be in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Okay, bye people.